Hey guys, welcome to my book presentation. My name is Erin Galisa, and the book I chose for this project is Financial Peace: Putting Common Sense into Your Dollars and Cents by Dave Ramsey. So before we get into the book, I wanted to talk a little bit about the author. The author is Dave Ramsey. He was born on September 3rd, 1960, and graduated from the University of Tennessee with a degree of personal finance. He started off as a businessman, but is now a radio show host and an author of multiple books. His radio show is called The Dave Ramsey Show, and it's heard on more than 500 radio stations throughout the US and Canada, where he talks about his journey and gives a little bit of tips and things about budgeting and being at financial peace. He came out with this program called Financial Peace University. It has 9 lessons that show you how to budget, pay off debt, save, and invest in your future. Dave Ramsey was a very successful businessman when he first started off. He was able to establish a $4 million real estate portfolio, but he did lose it by age 30 due to greed and not saving properly, which brings in the book and where the book's vision came in. So what is financial peace? Financial peace is basically non-existent, according to Dave. You shouldn't spend all your time and energy trying to find financial peace because it simply does not exist. Instead, you should spend time trying to budget and watch your spending habits so you're not in debt and struggling all the time so that you can find some peace in your life. The first point that I wanted to go over was to avoid stuffities. This is one of my favorite points that he makes in his book. He describes stuffities as an uncontrollable desire for only good stuff. I think it's important to realize where you're spending your money and if you're making sure that you have enough for priorities like water, rent, and food. It's important to realize that your value as a human being is not based on your ability to collect stuff. You don't need stuff in order to fit in or to look a certain way. I like this one quote he uses. It states, "Measure your wealth not by the things you have, but by the things for which you would not take money." It's important to realize that money is not everything and that you can make memories without it, and some of your best memories come without money. The second point in the book that I really like was called Power Over Purchase. We shouldn't allow our purchases and the people from whom we make the purchases to have power over us. It's important to remember that we are making the purchase, so we have the power. We have to learn the power of saying no, and that saying no is okay. It's really easy to spend more money than we make, and it's important to realize where we're spending it and if we really need to spend it. If you consider personal selling, the person's job is to sell you the item. Their commission, their checks come from selling you this. But it's important to realize that you say no. Their job is to be persuasive, to tell you need it, but you need to take time and realize that sit down and think, do I need this item? If I don't, just walk away. It's okay. The last point that I'm going to be going over is called sacrifice. I think this is a really important lesson from the book and that everyone can get a little bit of information out of it. It's important to realize your style of living. You can't be going out and going to these expensive dinners if you can't afford it, and that's okay. You should create a budget for yourself and realize how much money is coming in and how much is going out. It's important to save, you never know. He says the best way to get rich quick is to not get rich quick. You need to be patient with yourself, and it's okay. So for now, you should stick with the basics, so hopefully in the future, you'll be able to afford that new car you want. It's important to not spend more than you can afford. If you spend more than you can afford, it's just going to cause you to be in debt and to not be able to find financial peace one day, and no one wants that. So now that we went over the book and some of the opinions and facts that he has to say, the question of would I recommend it comes up. And overall, I would say yes. I think it's a great find and a great book to read when you have the time. It's important to keep an open mind when reading the book though, because he may go against some of the beliefs that you already have. It's important to keep an open mind and not be so hard headed because you may learn something. It may change your opinion on something or may make you think of a certain subject a different way. I think people that are trying to budget or watch their spending habits or even get out of debt could really benefit from this book. He is a counselor for a lot of families that recently went into debt and is taking a toll on their marriage, and he has helped so many people get out of their debt. So I think it's a great read and a great place to start if you're trying to budget. So now that I know all of you guys are looking this book on Amazon and getting your Amazon Prime and delivering it to your house next week, I'm going to be going over the relevance it has over me and business management. For me, I want to know how to budget. I know I have terrible spending habits and that going online shopping at 3 a.m. when I'm half asleep is not the move. I think it's important for me to realize how to budget now so that I'm set for the future and I'm not in debt in the future. For business management is devoted to organizing, analyzing, and planning various types of business operations. I think a key aspect to running a business and management is the importance to manage money. Money is the base of your foundation, really. You need money in order to start a business, to run a business, to pay your employees and everything. So getting a key understanding of money right now would be a great start. You need to learn how to budget your money. You need to learn where to put your money into your business and where not to put your money. There are certain places you can save and certain places you should splurge. So I think this book is a great start to business management. In my future, for my job, for the jobs I've had, money is always an issue. Money pushes employees to work. If a company does not have the money, they have to learn how to budget. They're going to have to learn how to cut hours and all things like that. So for me in the future, I want to start a business. And I think this is a great place to start, learning how to budget my money, how to stay out of debt in my business. And I think overall it's a great find. And with that being said, it brings an end to my book presentation. I hope everyone enjoyed it and hearing about my opinions. I hope this was an eye opener for everyone to think about where their money is going and to maybe create a budget one day. I hope you guys enjoyed it, and I'll talk to you guys soon. Thank you. budget and watch your spending habits so you're not in debt and struggling all the time so that you can find some peace in your life. So before we get into the book, I wanted to talk a little bit about the author. The author is Dave Ramsey. He was born on September 3rd, 1960, and graduated from the University of Tennessee with a degree of personal finance. He started off as a businessman, but is now a radio show host and an author of multiple books. His radio show is called The Dave Ramsey Show, and it's heard on more than 500 radio stations throughout the US and Canada, where he talks about his journey and gives a little bit of tips and things about budgeting and being at financial peace. He came out with this program called Financial Peace University. It has 9 lessons that show you how to budget, pay off debt, save, and invest in your future. Dave Ramsey was a very successful businessman when he first started off. He was able to establish a $4 million real estate portfolio, but he did lose it by age 30 due to greed and not saving properly, which brings in the book and where the book's vision came in. Hey guys, welcome to my book presentation. My name is Erin Galisa, and the book I chose for this project is Financial Peace: Putting Common Sense into Your Dollars and Cents by Dave Ramsey.